Back in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, I was obviously a much younger man, and there was a girl that I had a crush on, and I came to find out that she loved the smell of a fragrance that then had only been out a few years, but had been getting quite popular. You could say, I think you could say that back then it was probably kind of like the Dior Sauvage of that time. And that fragrance was Dior Fahrenheit. Now, I'm not saying that this is like Dior Sauvage, but Dior Fahrenheit this year in 2018 is celebrating its 30th year since release. And I thought that given that I've been familiar with it for such a long time, I'd finally do my review on it. Now, the important thing to consider is back then I would have bought a bottle to impress this girl, and would have been a beautiful vintage Dior Fahrenheit if I'd still had it now, although I would have finished the bottle by then. This is just for everyone's knowledge, this is a 2015 bottle of Fahrenheit. Cosmetically to the bottle there are some differences. I think the cap is a different shape. This is just a little 30ml bottle that I've got. And I think that this still clearly has been reformulated, purely because of how long it's been on the market. It's almost impossible that it hasn't been reformulated. But the smell, the first time I smelled this bottle, it still immediately took me back to that old bottle of Fahrenheit. The smell is there, okay, the scent is there, and the only way that I could possibly in my mind detect any discernible difference between that smell and what I remember is if I had them both side by side, and then I could probably pick up some differences between the vintage and this current version. And I think this happens quite a bit, okay? Unless you have side-by-side vintage versus current, you're really relying on something that's in your mind that may have been embellished by a whole range of different experiences and elements, okay? So what I will say is this, to my nose, smells absolutely like Fahrenheit. I still love the way Fahrenheit smells. If I had to, again, go back to my memory, I remember the old Fahrenheit having a lot more projection, being a lot stronger, but I'm not sure if back then I would have oversprayed a lot more. But, you know, I concede that probably the old vintage formulation was a little bit stronger. So, for those of you who are uninitiated to Dior Fahrenheit, legendary fragrance, what does it smell like? Well, it basically still kind of smells like nothing else on the market, to be honest, and I haven't smelled anything that, you know, that purports to be a clone of Fahrenheit or anything even similar. This, if I had to describe it in two words, is a floral leather, okay? Because they're the two things that I get the most of. There are a range of flowers here, but it's, you know, so masculine, aromatic. This opens up with a range of citruses, okay? Citruses, lemon, bergamot, mandarin, and in combination with things like chamomile, particularly the violet leaf, it creates this accord that Fahrenheit is famous for, and that is this petroleum or gasoline accord. I don't think it's a separate, well, I'm guessing. I don't know if it's a separate note there that specifically smells like petrol, but I think it's the combination of all those other things that suddenly bring out this this accord that immediately, you know, reminds you it's not petrol or gasoline straight out of the Bowser, okay? It's not that. It's that vibe. And what this fragrance also has is some kind of aldehydic haziness. Like, so it's almost subconsciously mimicking the fumes that are coming out of the petrol Bowser as you're filling your car. All right. As this dries down, it goes into the middle notes, and there's more of the florals come out. And I like to describe this like musical frequencies. This starts off high pitched in the beginning, and then it starts to get into the mids and to the lows. Those high pitched notes like the chamomile, the violet leaf, and the citruses die down. You get a bit more of the heavier notes that are in the base notes come in, more so amber and particularly leather, this leather accord, okay? Now this leather is vintage sports car leather, a car that's had many drives, many people in the passenger seat, wearing floral perfumes, that old clean leather tainted with years and years of people's odours ingrained into the skin. Not skanky in any way, just this gorgeous vintage floral leather that also has this fragrance also has this lightness about it. It is such a unique creation that is so hard to pin down. Yes, it's definitely florals and leather, but it's so much more than that. There's a bunch of notes in this that are officially listed that I don't detect on their own, but it seems like this stuff is almost a happy accident, to be honest. Like, and they hit on something amazing here, and it's testament to the fact that it's been around for 30 years. It's still, to my nose, reasonably close to the original. And I still highly recommend Fahrenheit. I've tried a few Fahrenheit flankers, particularly I've got Aqua Fahrenheit. I've tried the Fahrenheit Parfum. I'm not so impressed with that one. Yes, it's got the DNA of the original, but the vanilla and booziness in that doesn't work for me. This is always going to be number one for me as far as I'm concerned. And if you're a guy and a girl, I think you should smell this and try it out. I don't think you can be a fragrance enthusiast and at some point in your life not smell this and try it. This still polarizes people. Some people don't like it at all, but I think it's a magnificent fragrance. It's a legendary fragrance as far as I'm concerned. Probably Dior's in the top 2 or 3 masculine fragrances they've released ever. That is Fahrenheit. I hope you've enjoyed my ranting about it, and please check it out. I'll see you next time.